Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of ums, because I don't know how to talk.
Okay,
Alright. Hello, everybody. My name is Rinoa. I'm
and my name is Maddie. Hello.
I started, like, talking over you.
I noticed.
I'm tired. I'm sorry. Alright, so this is gonna be fun experiment. This podcast.
Yeah.
Did you like that clapping?
Yeah, it was great. It was beautiful.
I'm so fucking glad. I was gonna say some really gross shit. I'm sorry.
You have to hide your true self for everyone, don't you, Renoa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble.
It's okay, Rin.
They can't know I'm a furry, Maddie.
I don't know if they'll ever find out, Rin. It's not like we're gonna talk about furry dating sims in the future or anything.
No, I don't have Amorous and Nekojishi downloaded in my. I
I love
don't.
Schlom Boy.
Later podcast, we'll get DJ on.
Okay, okay, okay. Today we are talking about disabled bitches.
You're gonna get me killed.
It's okay. I'm the one that said it, not you. God kill me.
No, it's okay. So yeah, we're basically what she said. We're gonna be talking a little bit about Katawa Shoujo because I posted a video. It should be up by now. I don't know. We're recording this before I even record that script. I'm kind of dumb, but it's fine. And in that video, I kind of mentioned like that there are some kind of controversial things in Katawa Shoujo, and I wanted to briefly go over them in that video. I didn't want to get too in depth because I didn't feel like it was the place. I didn't want to, I don't know, talk about anything controversial in that.
Also, you don't want to fucking edit a bunch of crap, huh?
Yeah.
That's the real reason. You don't want to edit.
I really be lazy. So I thought we could talk about it here. I could have minimal editing, and I could also get somebody else to bounce off of, because Maddie watches a lot more like Japanese stuff, Japanese media than I do. So she's probably more brushed up on that. So
I know more about the culture, I guess, yeah.
yeah. Stupid fucking weeb.
Shut up, furry.
Oh, you can't call me out like that.
Okay, so first we're gonna talk about the age stuff, like with young characters, young-looking characters, bullies, basically. And
I would firstly like to give a little bit of context. I said this in the video, but in case somebody didn't watch it, the ages of the characters are primarily unspecified. All of them are listed as being over 18, except for Misha, who doesn't have an age listed on the Wikipedia for Katawa Shoujo, but obviously that is just fan curated usually, so I don't know their ages. It's not listed on the official website. I checked. So unless I missed something. So I don't know if they're all over.
Is the discourse like just the characters being possibly under 18? Like, is that just the main discourse about that?
Yes. Obviously.
Then what the? Okay, hear me out. Okay. Every fucking Japanese dating sim has characters under 18. They're all fucking high school kids. Why is this any different? What?
I don't know.
Like every single like that's Japanese. Think Shuffle has like characters under 18. They're all in high school. I don't understand why this is such a problem. Like, personally, I feel the same way about anime, because it's like, this is suddenly coming out of nowhere, when this has been like a thing in anime and in dating sims for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why everyone's getting their panties in a bunch this suddenly. I get why they are, but why all of the sudden?
I think the biggest issue people have is that Katawa Shoujo obviously has like sex scenes with all of the characters.
Yeah, but so does Shuffle. So does Shuffle. What?
Yeah.
Like everything does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
I think that most of these people are just coming out of nowhere and they don't understand. I won't say they don't understand, but like they haven't played other dating sims and don't
or at
understand that
least
it's
not
worse
Japanese
in other.
ones.
It's worse than other dating sims, is what I'm trying to say.
Uh-huh. I mean, I the first place I saw that particular like topic discussed was on a blog talking about just like some controversy with the
Wooly.
Arcana because because and you know the Arcana has some issues like with the dev team like having very controversial fan art and stuff, and you know I'm not going to get into that here, but on that blog they were like, yeah, this dev played Katawa Shoujo, which is really gross because it has uh you know fetish stuff with underage characters or just sex scenes, and I was just like, they're
I
underage? I don't think so.
I unironically think that it's from people that aren't actually like anime fans,
Yeah.
because I feel like people that actually are anime fans, I won't say accept this more, but like I've seen Jungle Day Iku. I know the worst of the worst. I know how bad it gets, and this isn't that bad.
Jungle de Iku, was that the one we watched together?
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, yeah, that one was gross.
Like that actively made me be like, "Oh god, this is making me feel really uncomfortable."
Like, she
Oh
was
god.
actually 12.
Ugh. She was like presenting like a mandrill.
I hate it. I forgot about that. I hate that you reminded me.
You're welcome. I remembered so you don't have to.
You're a nostalgia critic
Okay.
now.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, the real way I feel about it is that the thing with like the entire loli spectrum and everything, if it's real little girls, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with actual like Pornhub recently got in a big deal about them not verifying like actual ages. So like there were girls getting trafficked that were under 18 on there. That's not okay. I don't think that's okay at all. That's terrible. Like actual children being abused is not okay. If they're lines, if they're drawings, I don't care. They're not actually hurting anyone.
Of course.
Like no one's actually getting hurt with that. That's just an artist doing what they want. If it's an artist wanting to do what they want, that's fine. If the artist also hurts children, like real children, then no, it's not fine. But I don't see any evidence to that. So
Yeah.
just let the artist do what they want. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I've seen the argument made that fiction affects real life, and I will say that yes, fiction has influences on real life, but I don't think seeing characters that look young is going to necessarily like. I don't think we can tie that to being a result of any real world crimes.
It's like guns with video games. Like they think that violence, like people that play video games cause violence. I don't know about you, but I think the way it is I don't think it's the cause. I think it's more so it draws certain people in. Like
Yeah.
for example, like let's say a pedophile watched Boku no Pico, for example.
Yeah.
Like they'll watch Boku no Pico because they're a pedophile, not necessarily Boku no Pico made them a pedophile, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like that.
And not everybody who watches stuff like that is a pedophile. I mean, maybe
Of course.
Boku no Pico aside, because that is like clearly fetish material. But
We watched Boku no Pico together. So we understand.
and I hated every minute of it. But like,
Boku no Pico's not that bad, but
it's not.
But I've seen worse, but it's still not good.
Jungle de Iku, is that what it's called? Like, that is worse, in my opinion.
And it wasn't even a hentai, it was just bad.
Yeah, it was just, like, really uncomfortable.
Ugh.
But, you know, obviously, I would say, you know, I'm the kind of person, and I understand people who don't agree, I am the kind of person who's like, fiction is fiction, and while we do need to be conscientious of, yes, it can affect real life, it's also something, like, people are gonna express themselves the way they want, and if you want true freedom of expression, you have to allow fiction to be really gross sometimes, and I don't like it, but
okay, with some of those things, I think it has a right to exist. Like I as much as Jungle Daiku makes me feel fucking uncomfortable, it still has the right to exist. I think if an artist wants to make that, they can. It totally can exist. I don't have to feel comfortable about it, and I don't it and thinking it's a good anime, but it does have a right to exist, because if an artist wants to make something, I am full-heartedly okay with an artist drawing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just, for the record, there's a point where like lolis start making me pretty uncomfortable, and
of course.
I want to
of course.
I want to now talk about Emmy specifically, because this is also with the age shit. Though she is the oldest character, of course. That seems like a cop-out. It's pretty common. They'll make the one that looks the youngest technically the oldest, so nobody can feel bad. Like
Nico Yazawa.
Yeah. The one from Love Live, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I personally, like, with Emmy, she, in, like, her sprites and a lot of her more sexual art, she is depicted looking a lot older than she is in, the picture of her laying down in the flower field, which I showed Maddie before we started, and I said, she looks 12, doesn't she? And Maddie kind of had to agree, because the way the artist drew the character made her look very young, but it wasn't a sexual image. And since the art style, I'm pretty sure it was done by, I guess, at least 5 different artists who worked on just the CGs and the sprites, like in the final game. The art style varies constantly. So
I think it's just how the artist draws characters, because you showed me another character drawn by like probably the same artist, because it looked very similar, and that character also looked really young. I think it was just the artist likes to draw really cutesy and innocent looking features that end up looking young, and that's another problem that I have with like people like automatically being against that kind of stuff of, oh, she looks young, therefore it's wrong. You can't put an age on a drawing. I'm sorry, but like someone that looks young doesn't automatically mean that they are young, and it's kind of hard to draw that line sometimes. So I don't know. I just think at certain points, like, you can't tell an artist that they can't draw something, because that's just that person's art style.
Yeah, it's when we start getting into like, we can talk about, Boku no Pico. Those are little depictions of children. That is an issue.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, again, artistic freedom, but I'm still uncomfortable with it.
You're allowed to feel uncomfortable. Yes. I'm not going to take that away from you.
Of course. It's like when I see, not to bring Fruits Basket into every conversation, I've seen some, shut up Maddie, I've seen some, like, looking for fan comics, and seen some pretty gross stuff with, like, Kisa and Hiro, which are both 6th graders, I'm pretty sure, like middle school, like young middle school. I'm not sure how old first years in middle school are in Japan. You probably would know that.
I believe they're 13.
Yeah, so still like pretty young. And, Fruits Basket's art style is very much so varied. So that's like, sexualizing those characters to me is like, okay, that's pretty, like, I'm grossed out. But again, it's Japan.
Yeah.
They're Japanese, and if they're not,
you need to. That's the thing with Japan. I'm not gonna say it's good. I'm not gonna say I agree with it, but their age of consent is a little younger than ours, and I mean, you need to put into context that you need to put into context like how their culture works. And like the age of consent and all that good stuff. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to agree with it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to think like, oh, well, it's okay in that country, but not okay in this, because that's ridiculous. But you need to like put into context that in that country, it's considered okay. So you just need to put it into context. It doesn't mean you need to agree with it, but, you know.
It's like a lot of people, just in the US, I know in my state the age of consent is 16, while in yours it's 18, right?
Yeah.
Or 17. So
it's 18, yeah.
Yeah, there's variables from state to state in the US. So
just imagine country to country.
Yeah, it's if we're all having
values are just different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And who are we to tell people from different countries and different cultures that they're wrong? I don't think they're necessarily wrong. We can just have an open discussion about why should
I don't think they're right either.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult topic to even broach,
Yeah, it's a very sensitive issue that, I feel like a lot of people who consume like the Japanese media or anime or anything that like the authors are Japanese, if you consume enough of it, you start to understand, okay, this must just be the culture. But when you are somebody who only really is getting into that, you're like, okay, I feel a little bit weird. And that's why it can come off to many who are less experienced.
And even if you are like engrossed in the culture and like understand it, I won't say I completely understand Japanese culture because like I've never gone to Japan and I don't think you can fully understand the culture unless you've been there. But I've consumed a lot of Japanese media in my day, and even now some of the things that are prevalent in Japanese media still make me fully uncomfortable. For example, incest makes me so uncomfortable. And that's so prevalent in Japanese media, and like it just makes me feel really, really weird.
Yep, it can be cousins, it can be siblings, it can be
no matter what it is, it makes me feel so fucking weird, and I don't like it.
Hey Maddie, can you hear my heater in the background?
No, I can't. Can you hear my fan?
No.
Then we're good.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good place to end that particular discussion. I think I said what I needed to say. Do you have any final thoughts?
Teenagers have sex drives too, so don't forget about that. That doesn't mean they can have sex with adults. I'm just saying they also have sex drives. And also teenagers have sex. Whoa! I can't believe it, guys! Teens have sex! I'm okay with them having sex with each other just as long as they're not fucking adults. Which, by the way, this game, they're fucking each other, not adults. I'm just saying.
So, the next thing on our list is the fetishization, or fetoshization, as I spelled it so terribly.
In the fucking chat.
Yeah. Of disabilities. Now, I remember sending like some art to a friend of mine, and her first response was, something you could talk about, because it was in the context of I want to make a video about this. Her first response was, you could probably talk about, how it can come across that it looks like they're fetishizing disabilities. Like the whole game is centered on dating girls who have variable disabilities. So, I mean, that just comes with the setting of it being in a school for the disabled. But, again, Maddie has not played the game, but I have. I've 100%ed it, so, like, I've gone through everything that I can. And
I know enough about it, I think.
And
I've read I can't say this word, excerpts. I've read a little parts of it, and I've seen pictures that you've shown me, and you've told me a lot about it, so I know enough.
Yeah. I will say personally that I never really got that impression reading it, but also I am not disabled. So I'm
midget.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I am, but I'm too tall to get the Social Security benefits, and therefore I don't think I count.
Okay, whatever, midget.
I'm being bullied.
It's okay. You're not that much shorter than me. It's okay.
Yeah. Stupid.
Okay. The way I see it is, there can be a love story between like characters with disabilities without it being a fetish, you know? It could be a theme of everyone deserves love, and I think that's a good theme.
Yeah, I feel
like just because they have disabilities doesn't mean that you should exclude them from like love stories. Doesn't that seem kind of wrong? Like, people want representation, don't they?
Yeah, but as soon as it's representation from people who we know are on 4chan, we don't trust them anymore.
Well, I mean, it is 4chan.
Yeah, but like that doesn't necessarily mean everybody on there is like terrible, you know? I've never really
I mean everyone terrible.
That's true.
So I mean, come on. I mean, they go after lilies, they're pedophiles.
Yeah.
All of them, every single one.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna take me fully seriously.
And that person is me.
God. And that person is me. You're a terrible person, Maddie.
I wanted you to go, I know. Like you're talking to yourself. Anyway, yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh.
Go on.
No, I think the whole it's fetishizing disabilities is one of the arguments I don't particularly understand. Just because, like, I see where you're coming from, but just because it has characters with disabilities in it, and that's the main theme of the game, if you put it into context, I don't see how it's fetishization to just have characters with disabilities when the setting is literally a school for the disabled, and the character you are playing as has a disability. It's just not physically apparent, other than like it's internal.
I mean, if they kept highlighting like, ooh, she has no legs, might pee hard, then maybe.
No, none of the dialogue was ever like that. It was always, I showed you Hanako's scene, and yes, the burn scars were mentioned, but they weren't called sexy or anything.
Ooh,
like that.
I love those scars. My pee get even harder.
It was like saying that it was a unique part about her, and that, it would mention how the skin moved differently because of the scar tissue. Like, that part of her body moved differently, which, I don't know how those work, but that probably makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I'm sure the skin or the scar tissue wouldn't react the same to motion as normal skin would, but, just, I don't think that it's sexualizing or fetishizing or anything. I just genuinely think that the story is about, Hiso or Hisao. How would you pronounce it, Maddie?
Hisao?
I'm gonna say Hisao then.
Yeah, I think it's Hisao.
Hisao coming to terms with his disability and learning how to interact with other people who have disabilities, like, Lily, who is basically just like Maddie here. She looks a lot like Maddie, but she's blind. So I've called her Blind Maddie quite a few times. Because I would forget her name and be like, Blind Maddie.
Blind Maddie.
In her route, Hisao would go, I see, or something like that, because it's pretty typical. Like, that's just a phrase people tend to say. But then he would immediately apologize. And Lily would be like, you don't have to change your language for me. And I'd say that in any experience I've ever had with somebody who's disabled, they've always been very similar. It's like, it's not a big deal. Like, obviously it affects them, but they'll say, like, treat me the same way you would treat anybody else. You don't have to change your way of speaking for me. So
you know what? Okay, so this is kind of like related. So I'm in college and I'm taking a philosophy course, and I was reading this, like, assigned reading that was written by someone that is disabled. She never has had, use of her legs at all, and she's always been in a wheelchair for as long as she can remember. And she wrote about how there are two different ways of thinking about having a disability. There's a medical, like, thing where people call people, like, a person with a disability, and then there is a way of thinking of a social way of disability, and that is disabled person. And most people want to be called disabled person over person with a disability. And they say it's because disability itself is more of a social thing, because you're disabled. Like, okay, think about it this way. When your internet is disabled, does that mean that it's broken? No, it's just not, functioning the way that it normally does, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And the reason why people are disabled isn't because of their body parts not working like everyone else's. It's because the society doesn't want to work around that. Like, they don't want to give people like easier access ways to live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, certain places in London don't have like ramps to subways, so people who are disabled can't I said people are disabled. Disabled people can't use the subways that way. So that's one of the things that I think it kind of goes with. Like, it's just that people want to make it like a bigger thing because they're afraid of, making people offended. But most disabled people don't want you to put too much attention on it because it's not that big of a deal to them. It's just part of their life.
And it also just kind of depends person to person. I know some people are more comfortable discussing their disabilities, while others are more hesitant to do so, and that's totally okay. It depends on
that woman wasn't like hiding it or anything. I mean, she was literally writing about it. It's just that there are certain ways to deal with it, I guess. Like, you can either make it so it's like, oh, well, there's something wrong with you, therefore it's your problem and I need to work around it. Or it could be like, this is part of you, and I'm just going to accept that and try to help you in whatever way I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't meaning her. I just mean some people.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the difference between, how, like, Lily in Katawa Shoujo handles being blind and saying, again, you don't have to change your language for me. And Hanako is very hesitant to tell, Hisao what happened and how she got those scars, and I'm not going to spoil it here, but it's a confession of, maybe not a confession, but it's just like when she finally...
It's a crayon drawing.
What's that?
I'm sorry. You just fucking showed me those pictures, and I just saw that fucking crayon drawing of how she got scarred, and it's a crayon drawing. You were like, this is how she got scarred, and I'm like, oh my god, it looks like it was drawn in MS Paint.
It was drawn on MS Paint with a marker tool. Or not marker, crayon tool, sorry, I'm dumb. Oh, but, yeah, it was a really emotional scene. Like, again, it's not the one that made me cry. That was in Lily's route, but I'm changing the way I say route because people keep making fun of people who say route, and I need to stop doing that.
No, you cried during Katawa Shoujo.
I sent you videos.
I totally forgot, I'll be honest.
Oh, I still have them. I can send them. You know that picture of me crying?
Oh yeah, like Maddie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I still can't believe that you cried during Katawa Shoujo of all fucking things.
I also cried during 10 Days with My Devil, but I was 12, so it was more excusable. With Katawa Shoujo, I was 17, so I had no excuse to be crying. Speaking of which, I'm a legal adult now, guys. I'm so happy.
Sorry.
So I can now legally look at
pornographic images.
It was totally like I was arrested before. I'm kidding. It was a bit.
I can also very legally send you nudes now. Before I couldn't because I'm a year older than you, but now you're of legal age and I can totally send you my nudes.
Yeah, but we were also friends when we were both underage, and that would be like, illegal for a different reason, but at least it wouldn't be due to...
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's still weird because we were both, like, I was 16 and you were 17 or whatever it may be.
Still weird. Weird.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, fetishization disability. Got off on a tangent.
Fetishization.
Fetishization. I love fetishization.
Can you
It's my
quote
favorite
that, please? I'll remind you later.
word. Okay. I mean, we don't talk in our Discord chat very much, so I mean, it's always gonna be there, and eventually I'll just see it and be like, oh yeah, she wanted me to do that.
Yeah,
But
you should quote the entire fucking list because she actively put in the list,
it's basically like a bullet list, and it just age shit. Fetishization of disabilities. ... TW scenes and whatever the fuck we want.
um, um, It's a train wreck.
It is. It's fine. I could probably like move stuff around. I could probably put this as the beginning so it like this is just this part. Or at the end. I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts on the fetishization?
Disabled girls are hot. Okay, next.
Disabled people can fuck.
Hell yeah.
As long as like
As long as it's consensual.
Yeah.
Next topic. Consent. Oh yeah.
Alright, so I'll just go ahead and say that we're gonna mention some slightly more, like, I mean, this conversation kind of got into, like, age of consent shit before, so maybe it's not that much worse, but we're gonna get into the topic of some scenes that were maybe a little bit uncomfortable due to possible lack of consent or just, you know, stuff in that nature. So if that makes you uncomfortable, go ahead and, like, get out. Like, I appreciate you watching, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
We don't want to make you lads feel uncomfortable. That's not what we want.
Yeah.
We want not want me to feel uncomfortable. I can't speak. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable or get reminded of something terrible that happened. So, you know.
Get out.
Yeah, bitch, get out.
No, I wanted to talk about this because I've seen different people have different opinions, and, you know, my feeling reading particular scenes, because I read everything in the game regardless of how uncomfortable certain things, you know, in these scenes may have made me. So I think it's important to, like, talk about them and what we think. Also, I just kind of wanted to talk about what I think because, you know, my feelings have actually changed a bit since, like, I've reread certain parts. Even just today, I feel a little bit differently about certain scenes, but I showed Maddie Hanako's scene, and I showed you all of the CGs. You got the impression of what was going on in those
Of the terrible art styles. Yes, I have.
the terrible art styles, and then the one good art style that was just, like, occasionally sprinkled in.
Yeah, pretty much.
No offense to those artists. I mean, this was like a decade ago, so I'm sure they've gotten a lot better.
Full offense, artist. Kill yourself. Kidding. It's a bit. It's a bit. I was kidding. No.
Maddie, did you, like, slip up and then realize that you probably shouldn't have said that?
Kind of. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Maddie's just like, cut that out.
I don't care if you keep it in. No one's gonna know who I am anyways. And if they do, harass me. I don't care.
This is Maddie.
Do it, cowards.
I start just, like, listing off your home address.
Do it, cowards. You won't. No balls.
I don't have balls, Maddie.
Not yet, you don't.
Oh God, what's that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, so I want to talk about Hanako's scene first because it's probably the most, like, talked about scene that caused
Hey, Rin,
discomfort. And it's the one
hey,
that
Rin.
I showed. What?
Which one is Hanako again?
Oh my God. The one scene that we read with the burn scars. I don't like to identify them by their disability, but, like,
well,
it is,
that's like just tell me the one with the blonde black hair, then I'll know.
But Shizune had dark hair.
I said long black hair.
Oh, I thought you said blonde black, and I was just like, she probably just fucked up on her words. Also, my sister found my YouTube channel, so, like, Eris, if you're still watching, get out. You're not supposed to be here.
Hi, Eris!
You're not supposed to be here. I'm going
Hi,
to need you to
Eris.
leave.
We're talking about sex, damn it.
I don't think she would watch this, but like,
Jehovah doesn't want you to know about sex. Jehovah says no. You're not going to the new system.
every Jehovah's Witness watching just went.
Like there are Jehovah's Witnesses watching this. We were talking about sex.
Like there are Jehovah's Witnesses who play visual novels.
Not only that, but sex visual novels about disabled people.
Yeah. Just for context, because I don't think I've mentioned it, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, so I'm allowed to joke about it.
Jehovah.
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 Yeah. So anyway, Hanako's, long dark hair. We read her scene just before like starting this recording, and I told Maddie going in, like, I personally felt a little bit uncomfortable reading it. I didn't like certain words that were used, like reluctant and scared at one point, and it wasn't like Hanako saying I'm reluctant or I'm scared. It was just the observations of Hisao, and that alone is, I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable personally, and there's a debate on if that was a consensual scene. Was it not? Maddie brought up a lot of good points while we were reading it, so I'll let her explain her thoughts in just a moment after saying my opinion.
Yeah, just tell me what you think.
I don't know. I think it was consensual, but that doesn't mean that it was right.
Fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the actions of Hisao are things that I support or are right. He should have been much more careful about asking, hey, are you okay? Are you comfortable? Like, he was noticing her reluctance and her, being slightly uncomfortable, but he didn't actively say anything, which bothered me. If he would have said something and she would have been like, yeah, it's fine, go on, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah, that would get rid of this problem entirely.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts. Maddie?
So first and foremost, I think if I were to read it, I'd feel uncomfortable. I mean, I felt uncomfortable reading Jum and Han's route. I get uncomfortable, not that, like I get uncomfortable from, like, small things like that, so, like, again, I think it has a right to exist, like the loli shit did, but I mean, that's a different thing. As for if it's consensual or not, it's kind of hard to say. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I asked before if Katawa Shoujo was a Japanese visual novel or, like, at all, because that really does put into context whether or not, like, it's more, I won't say acceptable, but more understandable, I guess. Because in Japan, women are kind of expected to keep their sexuality on the down low. Like, you're not supposed to, like, women aren't supposed to say that, like, what they're into or what they want. Men aren't as much either, but, like, women especially, they're not supposed to. And their sexuality is usually, like, if they show their sexuality, they're usually, like, in freak, like, oh, why? You're not even, like, you can't be a wife if, show your sexuality. It's getting better than it was before, but, like,
yeah,
it's still like that. And you'll see that a lot in a lot of, like, Japanese media. In, like, visual novels and in also anime, you'll see it too, where, like, the female characters will, be, like, pressed up against a wall by a guy, and she didn't even, like, ask for it, but, like, she secretly wants it, but she can't say that she wants it because, socially she can't. So, like, that's one thing. Like, it's just something that, like, the culture is different, and, like, they haven't fully embraced, like, not saying anything doesn't mean yes. Like, they haven't fully embraced that necessarily yet. Like, we haven't fully embraced it either, but, like, it's not as much there as it is here, I guess I could say. And that, again, doesn't make it okay, but it puts into context why the scene might be like that. That is if it's Japanese. I don't know if it is or not, but
I'm
like, you know, that's
pretty sure
that's
it
just
is.
I mean, the writing in the letters were Japanese. So.
Yeah, but the setting is also in Japan, so if it is just like a you know, a like people in a different country who just really are into Japanese culture and want to be as authentic as possible, maybe, but I'm pretty sure at least the majority of the developers were Japanese.
It's not morally right, but it makes sense. You know,
Yes.
like it makes sense. However, that doesn't really. I still think that the whole like reluctantly and like hesitantly and all those kinds of words just kind of set up a precedent for like, you know, like stop, just stop, dude. Pull your dick out. Stop it. Just stop it. If it's hurting her and you clearly know it is, like take a second to stop and ask if she's doing okay. Like, it's like they could have made like small changes to make that scene way better. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I feel
think
like I'm talking too much.
no, it's okay. I think if I'm remembering correctly, it has been a long like probably 6 months, maybe 4 months since no, definitely. I read it last summer. I'm dumb. It's definitely been a while since I read through the entirety of Hanako's route, and she was the second route I went through as well, and it took me a while to finish the visual novel. It's pretty long. So, I'm pretty sure afterwards, the next day, Hisao was like, oh god, she didn't like that. And he had like a self-realization moment, maybe? Maybe I'm just making that up. But
that makes him a better character, at least. It doesn't mean he did something right, but I mean, like, you know, a better character moment, I guess.
Like a moment of like, oh shit.
Because that happens sometimes. I mean, that really does happen. Did he talk to her afterwards?
I know
he better fucking have talked to her.
Yeah, but I don't think he talked to her about that. That's the weird thing.
What a bitch boy.
Yeah. I don't think that he like explicitly went up and was like, hey, I'm sorry about what happened.
Hey, I'm sorry. Are you okay?
I don't know. I would go back and check, but also I don't
care.
I don't want to right now. I'm tired as is.
Don't care. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so, And then there was Shizune, which I didn't read with Maddie, but it's pretty short. Like, my explanation and my, my feelings on it are much more, I don't know. It's a scene where she ties his hands behind his back, and Shizune is deaf. So, technically, he has no way to, like, say no. Like, the word. Obviously, Maddie mentioned earlier, just looking at the CGs, like, facial expressions can give off a lot. But the argument could have still been from Shizune if he was, like, afterwards, like, yo, I didn't say you could do that. She could have been like, but you didn't say no. It's like, you took away his opportunity to say no, ma'am. That is not okay, especially for the first time. That's kind of what bothers me about it. It's the very first time they did it. And I'm not saying that it's not consensual or anything, because the context around the scene, the wording, he's enjoying it. So at least there's that, but again, I guess I just kind of wish that maybe there was some, like, yo, I'm gonna do this.
Could have been written better, basically.
Could have been written to be more comfortable, but I think the point of Shizune is that she isn't exactly supposed to be, like, a great person. She's kind of... She's an asshole. For lack of a better way. I'm pretty sure...
what a better way to show that you're an asshole than doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I remember there was a video that was, like...
There are many better ways. I'm facetious. Go ahead.
I think there was a video that was like, I don't remember what it was called or who it was by, so I kind of feel bad to mention it, but it was made by somebody, and he said, like, a terrible character, or a well-written terrible character, something similar, and he, like, goes into that particular scene, and he said that it was, like, basically non-consensual. And I don't know if I totally agree with that opinion, but I see totally the problem. I just maybe feel differently about it than some people. But no, I see the
Because it's
problem.
fictional. Because it's fictional, I think different people can interpret it different ways. So like, some people might interpret it as like, hell yeah, this is kind of hot, and like, you know, he like, once again, facial expressions can give off that he's enjoying it. But you can also interpret it as something kind of creepy and predatory, and that's okay because, you know, it's an interpretation of fiction. So,
Yeah.
like, if you think that's unconsensual and it makes you feel uncomfortable, you are totally in the right. But if you also think that, you know, it was consensual, then you're also in the right because it's an interpretation of fiction.
Unless the writers come out and say that it wasn't consensual, which I don't think they've made any comment on a lot of these scenes.
Even if they did, I don't think
Yeah.
the writer has as much like power as some people think they do. Death of the author and all that. Like,
Yes.
I think that the interpretation matters more than what the author says.
Of course. So, yeah.
J.K. Rowling and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, my feelings on that particular scene is when I was reading it, I felt a little bit like, I don't know about this, but I wasn't uncomfortable like I was with Hanako. Especially because it was like the receiving end, and I know that in that situation, yeah, in real life, I'd probably be a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I want...
You're in the head of the character that's receiving it.
So I
So
know
like,
how
you know
he
what he's
feels.
thinking. You know what he's thinking, you know what he feels like, so I mean...
Yeah, so maybe even if I was in real life in that situation, I'd be like, whoa, I don't like this, I don't want
But
this
you're a
to be
different
happening.
but you're a different
I'm
person
not,
than Hisao.
I'm not Hisao.
Yeah.
So, there's that. And then, one that I didn't even think of to mention, but we were just looking through, like, the CGs together, was in Rin's route, there's a scene where, and again, it's been a while since I've read her route as well, where Hisao walks in on her doing obscene things.
She's masturbating. She's masturbating.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to say.
And
It's not obscene, it's natural. Fuck
yeah,
you.
of course. But,
You're part of the problem with women not... I'm sorry.
I was
I'm
joking.
kidding. I know, I'm kidding too.
I was trying not to be descriptive just in case, but
She's masturbating, like,
yeah, she's not
straight out. She's, yeah.
And so there's a moment where Hisao just kind of, I don't even remember him asking if he can start touching her.
He just hugs her from behind and then starts touching her, right?
Yeah, and when reading it, I didn't have a problem with it. Because you mentioned, like, I don't know about this. But
If I were to walk in on somebody masturbating, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. Bye.
yeah.
I wouldn't go up to them and hug them from behind, even if I thought they were attractive and even if I was in love with them. Like, if I've, like, you know, if they've said that's okay in the past for me to do that, then sure, you need to set up those boundaries. But if, like, you don't know what they want and you walk in on them masturbating, even if you're in love and even if you think that they're in love, walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away, please.
Like,
this isn't okay.
The only thing that happened before that was, like, they kissed, I think.
Yeah, no, that's not okay. Just walk away, dude. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, and it's just like, the first thing she says when she notices him was, "I told you not to come here." So that's not really good.
That's a full on just be like, I don't want you here. Please leave. Like, she basically could have said that and it would have did the same thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like, from my memory, if it serves me right, which it usually doesn't.
Because you're a dumb hoe.
You're right. Man, I'm pretty sure she, like, resisted a little bit at first with just, like, the top touching. But when, like, she eventually just, like, gave into it, and it's like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't really like it. And not to say, you know, like, people with disabilities, you know, they have different ways of interacting with the world, and she doesn't have arms. So I feel like she's at a...
She couldn't push him away.
Yeah.
Like, she can't, she literally at his mercy because he was hugging her from behind, and she can't push him away. Like, come on.
Like, yeah, her
Dude.
leg muscles are probably a little bit strong because, you know, she paints with her feet.
But she was
and does
sitting
everything
down
with
on
her
the ground.
on
and
her
like,
knees.
yeah, on her knees. She couldn't do anything.
So I'm not saying that that wasn't consensual either. I'm not saying any of these weren't consensual. I'm just saying from the perspective of me, these all make me feel a little weird.
My pee-pee no longer hard. It's sad.
It doesn't like it.
It doesn't like all this.
It doesn't. At least with, like, Lily, it's totally, like, a good scene. All of her scenes. She actually, I think, had the most, like, intimate scenes of all of the characters. Maybe Emmy did. I don't know. And Emmy was good, too. So the blonde girls.
The blonde girls, yeah.
She's not she's an A, excuse me. Misha's were fine. Well, she only got one, but, well, no, she asked for it.
What?
No, I mean, like, she literally asked Hisao to do that.
Okay.
Not like she was asking for. No, I would never say that. I'm so sorry.
I knew you would. I knew you wouldn't.
Like,
I just thought it was funny.
She, like, explicitly was like, Hisao, let's have sex.
And he's like, okay.
You can either say, sure, or, I'm dating your best friend. So, like,
Am gay. No, thank you.
I'm going to fuck Kenji, the best character. Get out.
They should have made a fucking gay reference.
They totally should.
There's a joke in Nozaki-kun. This is totally off topic, but there's a joke in Nozaki-kun where they're like playing dating sim, and like it's two bros playing a dating sim. They're best buds, and they're like, wait a minute, I don't like any of these girls, but this best friend character is really cute.
Oh my god.
And they're like, he's so nice. I just want to date him. And that's the entire episode.
Isn't that like... I feel like that would be us playing a lot of visual novels where it's like only males can be romantic. It's kind of like Mystic Messenger where it's like, I just want to date Jaehee.
I just want to be gay, man.
Yeah, like...
Let me have this.
Mm-hmm. That's why I play games like Katawa Shoujo. Like, sure, Hisao's a boy, but I'm okay with that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not envisioning myself with Hisao. I'm not putting myself in the position of these girls. I'm literally just envisioning myself as a man because I like these girls. You know? Like, I can enjoy these stories even though the protagonist is a male. I'm not particularly bothered
I can
by
too.
that. Yeah, I know some people have, like, some discomfort around that. Like, I'm pretty sure some lesbians would probably be like, I don't want to see this because, like, you know, it's a dude. And I totally get that, but I never had that experience where it's just like, I don't know, I'm a boy now, it's fine.
I mean, yeah. For the most part, if you want to find dating sims.
You did cut out.
I'm sorry.
Not your
If you-
fault.
If you want to like play dating sims with girls, you kind of have to put up with it for the most part. I mean, it's just kind of how it
If
is.
you want to play
sad, but-
Japanese dating sims with girls.
Yeah, of course.
Especially. Like, there are many more options now. Like, Sakura Fox Girl is 2 girls, and I'm pretty sure that was... Are the soccer games Japanese? I think
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
So, but I mean, it's so poorly written. That's
course.
my piping hot take. No, honestly, I would give that a review of its own, but it's such a short game that I don't really think I have enough material, so I got a couple of them, so I might read them all and then be like, this is why this one sucked. Like, I really just... And it's a topic for another day, but... You know, you get more options now, and if you play, like, Western dating sims, like Lovestruck, you know, you get more female options. But even back when Lovestruck first started, like 5 years ago maybe, probably a little less, but they had, you know, like, Astoria and Gangsters in Love and Castaway before the app was made. So I would say like 4 or 5 years. They only had like one female in most of those. So it was after Love and
It's
Legends.
literally just Mystic Messenger again.
Basically, but you could
with
date
the
them.
one woman.
Yeah, you could actually date them that time. No, it was actually after, like, I think Havenfall in Starship. People were like, so, like, when are we gonna get another girl character in these games? And then I think the main push was for Helena's route. And everybody was just like, oh my god, we want Witchwife. Give us the
Oh my
blonde,
god, I
please.
want to date Elsa because why not?
I want to date the hot blonde. Give me the hot blonde. And then they gave us the hot blonde, and then they gave us Vanessa in Havenfall, and then it just kind of like, now it's...
We are getting so off topic, but can I bring up, like, thing that I've noticed while playing Persona 3?
Yeah, by the way, this is just the and whatever the fuck we want segment.
Yeah,
now,
okay.
So.
Okay, cool. So, in Persona 3, you can, in all of the Persona games, pretty much, you can pretty much, like, choose who you want to date. And in Persona 3 Portable, you can play as a girl. It's, like, one of the only Persona games you can play as a girl. And regardless of what, like, gender you decide to choose for your character, Aigis falls too. And she, the thing is, though, in the female route, she doesn't, like, she falls in love with you, but she says, and I quote, I know that you should find happiness with a man. Like you can't actually date Aigis in that game, and she, like, actively tries to hide her feelings because she wants you to be with a man instead. You don't even really have the option to say, no, Aigis, I want to be with you. That's the, like, it's, Persona 3 came out, when did it come out? I'm gonna say, like, it takes place during 2009, so I'm gonna say around then. Maybe a little earlier. I don't know. But I think it came out in 2000 or something. But, like, Persona 3, like, you know, that wasn't too long ago, and that was the kind of shit that you had to deal with. And you still kind of have shit like that now in the current Persona games, though you can't play as a girl anymore. In Persona 5, you can, like, you know, tell Ryuji that you love him, but he turns you down. So, you know, it's still a thing in Japanese games where, like, gay is bad and we can't have gay, and it's sad.
Yeah. And in a lot of...
It's getting better.
I'm glad Western visual novels have really, like, embraced that audience. Like, the Arcana has 2 female characters. Lovestruck has almost equal male and female characters in most of the recent properties, everything like that. And that makes me very happy. But, you know, at some point, Japan will probably switch over a little bit more and give us more.
Japan used to be more progressive about that stuff than we were, and now they're, you know, kind of behind. You know, gay marriage is, like, in certain prefectures in Japan, it's legal. I mean, it's not like some countries where they'll literally be gay, but I mean, like, it's still a social thing where it's like, what? Like, even if it's legal, it's still a social thing where, like, they'll kind of look at you differently. And I mean, it's not too different here either in certain, like, states. I'm pretty sure it's like that too, where, like, they'll look at you differently. I live in California, so I don't really deal with that much, but, you know.
And I live, you know, pretty close to there, so blue states.
Yeah.
It's just like the cluster of a lot of Western, on the West Coast states.
Yeah, for the most part, pretty accepting about it. I mean,
it's when you get, like, to the Midwest, or even...
I don't even know. All I know is there are certain parts of the country that are shitty. I just know that.
What about Rhode Island? Do you think Rhode Island's accepting of...
Rhode Island is very far east.
Yeah,
kind of, like, close to New York. What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
What do you think? I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know.
I didn't ask what do you think is, like, a facetious thing. I'm like, what do you think?
All I can think about is Family Guy.
Okay.
Family Guy. It takes place in Rhode Island. That's why. But
really, okay. I've only, like, really sat down to, like, watched like only like a couple Family Guy, so I
You're not missing much.
wouldn't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
And that's not coming from somebody who hates Family Guy, by the way. Like, we're so off topic now, but I
don't care.
watched like the first 13 seasons, and it stopped being worth it after season like 6, honestly. And
Cool.
it started to go downhill even before then. But like, it's think SpongeBob, you know, like for those who are children and are still listening, think SpongeBob. It got bad after season 4. Family Guy is pretty similar.
I love that you're just kind of assuming that children don't watch Family Guy. I'm willing to believe that the majority of Family Guy audience is children.
You know what?
I don't want to hear it.
I watched Family Guy when I was 6, so you're not wrong. And that was back in
I watched South Park when I was 6.
Yeah, and this was back in like what, 2010, 2009? I don't know how to count.
When were you 6? I was 6.
2007?
No, I was 6. I was 6.
Yeah.
So it was 2008 for you. Wow, you're so young. What a loser.
Oh my god, I'm stupid. I just realized, because I was always like, it's kind of weird that it was 2009 when I was in kindergarten. Because I was like 5 in kindergarten. No, I wasn't. I turned 7 in kindergarten. I'm a dumbass.
It's okay, Renoa. It's okay, Renoa.
It's not my fault. I didn't want to go
It's
to
okay.
the doctor to get my shots, and my parents didn't make me until later.
It's okay. Okay, Renoa. I know like we got so far off topic, but I want to ask, what was your favorite route in Katawa Shoujo?
Well, Maddie. I don't know if you're gonna like this or be flattered, but
Yeah.
I like blind Maddie a lot.
Wowie.
Yeah, she has a really soft personality, and I like that.
Cool.
Yeah, personality-wise, she isn't exactly like you. No offense, but you don't exactly...
I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't use that word to describe
I
you.
wouldn't either.
I would use tired, sometimes anxious. That's 2 words, but put them together. No spaces.
When I ask my friends like to describe me in a couple words, they all come up with like really weird answers, and it usually takes them a while too because my personality is kind of weird.
And all of us have different experiences with you too.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm in a call with you and different people, like your personality will slightly alter, and I'm pretty sure you get the same with most people. I don't know about me. I don't know how much my personality changes just because I have very minimal filter. Because fuck that.
With certain people, I'm really bubbly.
I would say with me,
it just
you're much more like jokey and sarcastic. Which
Oh.
is good.
Yeah.
But not like the legitimate, like, I'm trying to be rude to you sarcastic. Like the jokey sarcastic.
Yeah.
Unless you are trying to be rude to me all the time, and I just am not getting that, but...
I'm not. If I'm ever rude to you, I don't mean it. For you, I'm sorry, but chaotic neutral. Like that's the best way I can describe
Why are you
your
apologizing?
personality.
I know.
You are fucking chaotic, and it's something else.
I do be like, I'm gonna make Sims paint feet.
Make my sim paint feet. Okay, you can take a nap, but then you must paint feet.
That quote is so weird out of context. It's like, who are you talking to and about?
Okay, you may take nap, but then you paint feet.
Yeah, I would say honestly the closest to your personality would honestly be Shizune. Of all of the characters. And that's sad because she's an asshole. But it's just her...
Oops.
It's just her, like, she's very blunt.
I see.
You are very blunt most of the time. I can't really
Usually,
time when
sometimes.
you're not. And she's also, like, really smart and all that shit. And she's like, I'm good. But she seems more like, I'm better than everyone than you are. That's pretty, that's a good quality to have, to not be so up your own ass.
Awesome.
You're like...
What would you say you're most like?
I would say I'm most like Misha.
Oh.
But
well...
I'm not dumb. She's kind of like a bimbo, but in the best way possible. And I know Misha's, like, so divisive. A lot of people, like, fucking despise her, but... I like her. I think that she's really funny.
Chubby bitch.
She's not even chubby. She's just got a little bit extra fat.
Before anybody gets mad at me for saying that I am chubby myself, it's a joke.
Yeah. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm dummy
Ooh.
thick. Excuse you.
Did I tell you about the jokes Jacob and I were making about our fucking D&D character that I was making? I was like, God, I'm trying to be sneaky as a rogue, but my ass cheeks are so thick that I keep alerting everyone.
Oh,
God, I hate it. I
alright,
hate everything.
I think since we're so off topic, we could probably end it here.
Good idea.
Yeah. Any final thoughts that you would like to give?
Maddie pee hard, but not for disabled girls, for other reasons.
It's the art style, isn't it?
Nope, that art style is really bad.
That one image of Rin. Or Reen or
Why
whatever.
was she so weird looking?
It's not the arms, by the way. It's not that she doesn't have arms. It's her hips.
It's everything else.
Yeah, the arms not being there looks fine. It's when you get into the rest of it. It's like, ma'am? Do you need
Ma'am,
help?
what is wrong with your fucking chest? What's wrong with your waist? What's wrong with your everything?
Why do you have such a long, like, leg? Why is your leg
No,
so
my
long?
pee-pee's only because this entire time I've had an open tab out.
Oh.
No, I haven't. I was looking at various anime toys.
She's just been, like, watching Konosuba on the side. Just like, hold on.
No, I've been watching Utano Prince Sama. There's a difference.
Oh, God.
I haven't even seen the anime. I've only been playing the video game. God.
That's good. I think
Topic for another day because there are visual.
Mm-hmm. We'll definitely talk about that because I'm actually interested. My final thoughts: Lily is best girl. She's named.
Is your pee hard? Is your pee hard?
For Lily and Misha, yes. For Rin, I mean, she paints with her feet. That's cool. I'm glad that she has feet. And I really like Emmy. She's cute. Kind of wish she didn't look like she was 12 in that one image, but it's fine.
Is your pee hard for me?